Hey, this is Christian. I am starting a series which I am calling Church Words. These are words that you've probably heard in church, but may not entirely know what they mean. I am going to start this week with the word consecrate, and we are looking at 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Beloved ones, with promises like these, and because of our deepest respect and worship of God, we must remove everything from our lives that contaminates body and spirit, and continue to complete the development of holiness within us. So, Old Testament, before Jesus comes on the scene, God was super specific about what was allowed to come in his church, how they would run their church services, what things would happen inside of the temple. Now, the things that were used inside of the temple, there were bowls, lampstands, things that were used for sacrifice. Those types of things had to be consecrated, meaning God said, this is mine. You would specifically and deliberately devote it to God. A lot of times when you hear the word consecrate in church, they are using the definition set apart, meaning this belongs to me, nothing else can touch it. Hebrew word for consecrate in Old Testament was kadash. If it belonged to God, then it was now consecrated. Kadash, meaning it was no longer, no longer common. It belonged to God. It was a deliberate choice. And once it belonged to God, it belonged to God. Couldn't go back and use it again for dinner later. So now God would say the same thing about his people. If they were about to go into battle, if they were going to come into this place of his presence inside of the temple, if they were going to be priests in his temple, then they also had to be consecrated. You belong to me. Thing about that belonging, that no more you can be seen outside in the world, you're no longer common, you now are mine. It was temporary. Well, let's be honest. We all make decisions on a daily basis that go, that wasn't quite godlike. Life happens to us. Life happens to them. So it was a temporary something. They would make a sacrifice, do a specific set of rules that took away their sin for the moment, but it was always temporary. It was always going to be temporary because we were going to mess up again. So God goes, they're never going to get this right. So he chooses to come to earth himself in the form of Jesus, and he dies to make now his sacrifice makes us permanently okay. Looking at this verse again, we must remove everything from our lives that contaminates body and spirit and continue to complete the development of holiness within us. Now, when we look at the word consecrate, meaning we specifically dedicate and deliberately make deliberately make the choice to belong to God, we're doing it because we are continuing to become what he's already made us. We're choosing to go what I talk about, where I go, who I hang out with. I'm making choices to continue to be like what he's already done for me on the cross. Another thing about Old Testament was the things that they used, that they consecrated to belong to him, they couldn't be fractured. Meaning you didn't pick the bowl that kind of had a little bit of a crack in it. We just turn it around, nobody sees it. You couldn't use the cheap stuff. It belonged to God, so you picked the good stuff. If we looked at our lives right now, what part of your world would you go, I mean, it's okay? Is it your marriage, your job, your relationships with other people, the dreams on the inside of you that you're going after? It's okay. I mean, other people are just as okay, right? Nobody's really totally happy. It's just okay. I challenge you to take that part of your world that you go, that's okay, and bring it to God and go, hey, Dad, can we talk about something? And let him make that part of your world continue to look like what he died to give you. Love you.